there was just something in the back of my head that was saying, you know what, if you do all the right things, you hit at the right time, grab your legs, rotate as fast as you can, half, and just land it, I can do it. It's a weird mindset. I literally think I could do anything.
Vault's one of them things where it's kind of one skill, right? So it's one vault. So if you're thinking, I need to get my level, you've kind of got to push the one skill, whereas maybe on other apparatus you could do a few high-level skills and then supplement them with slightly lower-level skills. Vault's like all in. Yeah, if you want to be a top vaulter, it's all in. You've got to commit to doing big vault. And I think Harry's kind of personality and the way that he approaches things is suited to that. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm doing it.
It's still gutting now to know that I was so close to, if I landed a bit higher, I would have been Olympic champion, but it's all part of the journey, and I think the Olympics really taught me to enjoy the process more than just that last little bit.
Being in the gym 6 times a week, grafting, not necessarily always the one to be getting people's attention all the time, but putting in the work consistently was probably Luke's superpower.
There's not many clubs with a lot of boys doing gymnastics, but one, because we had that history before as a strong men's club, and because we can provide that expertise in terms of coaching and facility and that kind of thing, we can have quite a large number of boys, which, you know, the bigger base we have, then the more chance we have of finding your Harrys, your Lukes, etc.
Harry's always been a competitor, is what I've seen from a young age. And whether that be in the gym when we set up little competitions or when he competed as a young kid, and especially how he competes now, nothing seems to faze him. His focus seems unreal. And he seems to thrive off the pressure. Seems to give him that extra little bit of something. I don't know what it is. And I think that's innate in Harry.
I think Harry is so focused on what he wants. He knows what he wants, and he's going to get there one way or another.
He was quite a late starter. I don't know if he's explained his story, but he has a hip condition from birth, which means he doesn't have mobility in his hip joint, which means that when you look at him as a 9-year-old late starting gymnast, he can't do splits and all those kind of things, physical things like flexibility that traditionally you probably looked at and said, that person's suited to gymnastics. But then other people were saying, look at this kid, you need to see this kid, there's something there, you know, he's got potential to maybe go further, to be challenged in our programme, you need to, you know, try and offer him more. But I might not have seen that without having a great team around. So when you're thinking about that and building a team, I think Harry's story is a little bit linked to that, because his start was not your traditional, you can see it straight away, there's gymnastics suited to gymnastics, etc. However, the attributes he did have, he was very strong, very determined. You know, he had a kind of emotional and a determination about him that he wanted to compete, and he was, you know, he wanted to challenge himself. And physically he was strong, which are all great attributes for gymnastics. So the flexibility and things aside, that's kind of what kind of got him his start and maybe got him noticed a little bit.
When he puts his arm up, there is no doubt in his mind that he's going to do that routine and do it to a high level.
I knew it was a good performance. I knew it was probably one of my best. But I didn't, like, you see people when they know they've won medals, they're screaming and shouting straight afterwards. All I did was just do that, really. Because I knew Jake was going up. There's Davtian, there's Yulo, that have amazing vaults that could potentially push me out of the medal position I was in. So I was just sort of kept all that energy and emotion back and just waited it out for the entirety of the final.
From what I've seen, he has always had that ability to switch it on when he wanted to switch it on. He's had that ability, I think, in the gym. He can, you know, maybe have 1 or 2 goes at like 50% and get a bit frustrated, and then instantly, you know, switches his mindset and he has, you know, does the most ridiculous, insane gymnastics. And I think, you know, that's what's helped him be able to perform on those greatest stages. And I think he's had that right from the start.
I just think it represents the countless years spent in this place, working hard, sweating, bleeding, and also all the work the coaches put in, because I wouldn't be here without the likes of Dave, Andy and Tom. They've been a massive part of my life, and they've helped me get me to where I am now. So I think it represents the amount of hard work I've put in, but also the amount of hard work they've put in behind the scenes.
The tradition and the culture, I think, which is really important, has been there for a long time, and a lot of those coaches like Chris Lowe and Dave Murray had come over with the gym, with the gymnasts. So right from the offset, you had gymnasts like Niall Wilson, you had Ashley Watson, you had Matt Firth, you had those gymnasts and that performance culture that was here, and then year on year, I think it's bred more performance with the younger gymnasts.
To make that Olympic team, he probably had to go and win the Europeans floor again to give himself a shot of really pushing to be included in the selection as a potential medal winner floor finalist.
First time I did it was at the Croatia World Cup, and no one at the time was really doing the triple back. Even now, I was the only one to compete at the Olympic Games. But that skill is such a dangerous skill, such a hard level skill. You've got to be really careful when learning it. Steps have been taken to finally get it out to the competition floor, but it's a joint effort, I think. Obviously it comes from the coaches, but then mainly me.
Luke was a very unconfident young boy when I met him. And long story short, to see him at the Olympic Games and put his arm up just before he does a triple back on floor, confident, chest out, truly amazing, absolutely amazing. How impressed was I? Extremely impressed. A little bit about the journey in between, obviously European champion 2023 on floor, absolutely fantastic, we knew we could do it. I'm sure there's some people that could doubt it. In 2024, he's not selected for the European team. Goes really well in Doha, there's an injury. Max gets injured, Luke gets a call, flies from Doha to Rimini. Retains his title. Absolutely, truly incredible. It makes me feel a bit funny talking about it now, to be honest.
He's very, very persistent and consistent behind the scenes. I'll see him day to day, especially I see him on P-bars every day. He's constantly doing like his Dmitrienko, the uprise double back every day. He's just repeating all of his skills, going through every single set of skills that he needs to do. For even next code, he's doing that now. He's going through his new bar skills, new ring skills, new floor skills. I think behind the scenes, he's just really persistent, and he knows what he wants from that, so it's very directed as well.
It's definitely one skill at a time. When I'm thinking of the triple back, I think about the round-off, I think about the take-off, where my body's positioned, and just trust what I've done in the gym, the amount of repetitions I've done of that skill. I can go to a competition and be confident that I'm going to perform it well.
In the build-up to that period, if we're being, really honest and realistic, we didn't then expect selection for the Olympics, given the fact that he wasn't in the European team. Then the opportunity came, and it's like, but now you know that this is the last kind of shot. It's an opportunity, but it would be fair to say that even if it goes well, still the Olympic Games is probably a bit of a long shot. So he probably had to do exactly what he did in order to make the team.
A small mistake that probably the general public wouldn't understand. And the judges applied the rule correctly, which meant he finished in 6th place, but without that little mistake that's probably not that noticeable, it could have quite easily been Olympic gold. So initially, for me, I felt a lot of excitement, a little bit nervy, that I don't always feel, and then a little bit of doubt, and then I was super proud of the guy. Don't get me wrong, so disappointment is completely the wrong word. I was super proud in the end. Because not everyone gets to go to the Olympics, as you know, and perform on that stage, and it does take a special someone to do that.
We've trained for so long together, it's been such a long journey, and for me to reach the pinnacle at the Olympic Games, I think, he's obviously really proud, as any coach would be.
You just got to work hard. There's no substituting. In gymnastics, you can't cut corners. Now, society's changed a little bit now, there's a lot of instant gratification around. Just got to work hard, play a long game.